We aren't expecting outbreaks of severe weather for today and tomorrow, but at least some severe weather is expected for both today and tomorrow, and possibly into Wednesday as well. That further rest to go. We're gonna first take a look at timing for today, the details for today, and then the details for tomorrow. And at the end, we talk a little bit about the rest of the week as well. But it does not look like a week of being very active to get like durations or any of that stuff. It looks like we'll be on the lower end of severe weather for much of this week, and really more of a quieter week at end of week coming up with cooler conditions as we move into the end of August. Taking a look at today, by about 3 or 4 p.m., we likely won't see much thunderstorms initiated at this time, but as we move into later this afternoon into the evening time frame, we'll begin to see widely scattered thunderstorms develop all the way from Minnesota down into Nebraska and South Dakota area. A few of these thunderstorms will likely be severe, with the main threat being large hail and damaging wind gusts into the evening. As we move to sunset or so, we see a couple different areas of severe weather. One that will be in Minnesota, and potentially into northwest Wisconsin, and then the other one will be in portions of South Dakota and into northern Nebraska as well. Each of these, both these areas, will have a chance to produce damaging wind gusts and large hail. There will be an isolated chance for tornadoes as well. The area for tornadoes will likely be into south central South Dakota and into maybe northern Nebraska, north central Nebraska, with further northeast to go into Minnesota. The main threat will likely be damaging wind gusts, but there will be the chance for large hail and maybe an isolated tornado as well. As we push into the evening hours, it looks like these storms will begin to cluster out a little bit more and maybe weaken, but the area for the south will have more storm fuel in place, which I will show soon here. By more later as we get into tonight, this will likely allow for more of a later threat for rather on the southern mode compared to the northern mode into southeast South Dakota and into northeast Nebraska as well. As we push further into the overnight hours, it looks like we will maybe have an isolated chance for severe weather to continue, but the chances for severe weather into Wisconsin will likely be lower at this time, with better storm fuel, better ingredients being placed the further southwest you go. As you can see by the storm fuel on the more northern mode, these storms would initiate along the edge of the decent storm fuel that will be in place. But even then, this nose of storm fuel is only upwards of about 1,500 storm fuel or cape, you want to say. But further southwest you go into the further southwest storm met the area of weather, you have a greater storm fuel in place, upwards of 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram. That even in August is still a pretty good amount of storm fuel to allow for pretty intense thunderstorms to happen well into the evening hours. But for the northeast, it will run out of the storm fuel as we move to the evening, and likely lead to much weaker thunderstorms into the overnight hours. But again, for the south, as we move to the overnight hours, we will still have a good amount of storm fuel in place, upwards of 3,000 joules, just ahead of this cluster of thunderstorms, you want to say, that will likely, again, bring maybe swaths of these wind gusts, maybe up to 100 miles, wide, I guess you want to say, but we'll see how that things evolve into the evening hours. But again, a decent amount of storm fuel will be placed into the overnight hours tonight. Even to about 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, we'll still have some storm fuel in place that may allow a continued threat for an isolated severe thunderstorms well into the overnight hours. We have a partnership with ZoneWatchPro.com with ZoneWatch, and it is a subscription for the more advanced features, but you get up to 15 more features, and it's the price. The price is only half as much as coffee, even for the mid that will cover the whole Midwest, for all the different features, including right now I'm going to be showing the damaging wind risk, the futuristic wind risk, which I think is really cool. So again, there's a free trial too, upwards of a 7-day free trial. If you don't really like it, you can also cancel it. But I really do think you will like it, and you know that I am very strict on what I use for weather because I don't like weather apps or any of that stuff. So as we get to about 6 or 7 p.m. this evening, we will have a level 2 damaging wind risk for portions of Nebraska into south central South Dakota that will allow for an isolated chance for damaging wind gusts up to about 60 miles an hour or so for this areas. As we move further into the evening and into the overnight hours, we begin to see an increase in damaging wind risk for other portions of South Dakota and into northeast Nebraska. As we get to about midnight or so, we see another corridor of a level 2 danger wind risk for eastern South Dakota during this time frame, with a level 1 danger wind risk for eastern Nebraska during this time frame. Now, further into the overnight hours, we will begin to see a level 2 danger wind risk into portions of western Iowa as well, depending how this cluster of thunderstorms will evolve well into the overnight hours. But again, there will be enough ingredients in place to get this to happen. If it does, there will be a decent chance in this small corridor for danger winds up to about 60, maybe 65 miles an hour or so. Now, taking a look at tomorrow, there is a lot of uncertainty with how tomorrow will evolve because we likely have a round of morning convection rain in place tomorrow, and if this lingers around, the threat of weather in the evening hours will continue to decrease, and it has lately in the model guidance, but I'm not fully onto that yet. I do think we will get enough clearing to take place for the evening's round of weather, but if the morning round of rain lingers around, I expect a decreased severe weather threat for the evening time frame. But as we move into the evening hours or afternoon hours, we'll begin to see storms develop, likely potentially along an outflow boundary. If the morning round does move through fast enough, it will likely drop an outflow boundary over portions of the Corn Belt region, likely possibly in portions of Iowa and Nebraska. That will allow for thunderstorms to initiate along this boundary and push east-southeast into the evening hours. There will be a decent chance for tornadoes as long as a supercell can latch onto this boundary, which is very possible. As we move into the evening hours tomorrow, the most likely area of thunderstorms for this model is definitely into Iowa and into northern Illinois. So again, any discrete or semi-discrete supercell will have a chance to produce tornadoes. And then as we push into the evening hours, we'll continue to see a chance for weather as well along the I-80 corridor as we get past sunset time frame, but not as much for Nebraska compared to a different model, which this different model, it's a lot different for tomorrow morning. It has a lot more rain being in place, a lot more thunderstorms in place tomorrow morning. So it's about 9 a.m. in the morning. This has a lot of thunderstorms in place, not really much severe weather, just a lot of rain and maybe some low wind, some winds up to 40 miles an hour. But by the evening, thunderstorms will struggle to develop because of the morning rain. It does try to have a couple of supercells develop though, for portions of Iowa and maybe into northwest Illinois. If so, again, that will have a chance to produce tornadoes. But again, quite a bit of uncertainty with how tomorrow evening's weather will evolve. But this has at least some thunderstorms develop along that possibly an outflow boundary, and that will have an enhanced area of tornadoes. Now, this model, because it has less morning rain, it does get storm fuel upwards of 3,000 by the afternoon evening time frame along this boundary that will be in place. That would be plenty of storm fuel, plenty of ingredients, because you were having more of an area of directional shear in place with this alpha boundary as well. Low-level shear is a bit on the low end, so that's why the tornado threat may be in the lower end. But again, this boundary maybe increase that locally to get a tornado to happen along that boundary. Even if not, large hail and damaging wind gusts will likely happen. But again, this model has quite a bit of storm fuel in place. But if you go to the different model, that has a lot more morning rain in place. As you get to by tomorrow evening or so, you don't really have much storm fuel in place. It's further west for some, but again, you have a lack of storm fuel further east. But maybe locally along the boundary, you might get a little bit more, which is where the storms would initiate along. But again, as you can see, a lot less of a favorable air mass will be in place with this model. So again, severe weather will likely happen this evening and again tomorrow evening, but we are not expecting an outbreak for both of these at all.